I didn't want to put them on blast for this. Like, now that I'm like looking at this shit, like it's annoying. I had set time aside to do this. And then they message me and say, oh, sorry, we can't do it. So clearly they wanted to work with me first. So they like the content, obviously big enough to collab with. They want me to go to this event. Then once he signs to this agency, oh, nah, sorry, we can't do it. And then I look up the agency that he signed with. They're trying to say legal reasons. No, bro, it's just because I'm critical of it. With all due respect, John Kiriakou is a convicted felon. I've never broken a law in my life. But like, because of my political views and my criticisms of it, I'm more demonized. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely nuts, dude.
And I'm like, why is everybody texting me this? Look what John said about you. I said, John is about to get on the podcast. So Rob, if you have the clip, I want to start off with this. I want to address it one by one by one. I want you to cover this for me. So you're on a podcast. I don't know which podcast this is, but whatever it is, I was texted by everybody with this. So go ahead and play this clip.
I was watching Patrick Bet David yesterday, and Patrick is a hardcore Zionist. He's Iranian. I don't think he's... I think he's like half Assyrian and half Armenian.
Yeah, hang on.
But he's a hardcore Zionist, and not just a Zionist. He is a like 1,000% backer of Reza Pahlavi to return to Iran and to assume the peacock throne and blah, blah, blah. And he was saying yesterday that it's not 60% of the Iranian people who support the overthrow of the regime. It is 94%. And
I don't know when I've ever said that, but okay, let's keep going.
Am I wrong?
There are no polls.
Hang on,
there are no polls. You just make this shit up to put your stooge in.
The monarchists are crazy online.
This is delightful to watch, by the way. I'm enjoying every moment. This
Jammer,
is tasty.
thank you for the 5 gifted. Thank you for the 5 gifted, Jammer. Go ahead, let's keep going.
I saw they've been passing along the message that Iran only became Muslim 100 years ago.
What?
No, that was 1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago, yes. And I get that there are...
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Iran was initially Sunni. Just recently did it become a Shia country, like in recent history.
Still Zoroastrians, and
so now watch what
I get all that.
Which is the funniest part.
Elliot Covert, Patrick Bet David is... Okay, I stand corrected. I wasn't sure.
No, I'm not.
Somebody told him in the middle of the show that Patrick is... No, nah. This nigga is unintentionally funny, by the way.
Yeah. And so now watch what
I get all that.
Which is the funniest part.
Elliot Covert, Patrick Bet David is... Okay, I stand corrected. I wasn't sure.
No, I'm not.
But I know he's not ethnic Persian. He's Armenian.
What else is there, Rob?
Assyrian.
Is there anything else that goes on?
Yeah, 94% of his friends.
Curious to know, because I want to get all of it out.
Well, that's what
I'm a big
right?
fan of
literally,
yours.
I've been asking online, like from these Persian monarchists.
See, this is what I get for listening to people
you say,
in the chat.
Everybody wants the Shah back. I find that very hard to believe, considering how brutal the Shah was, and the fact that he was overthrown by his own people. Right? I mean, it wasn't like he was cooed out by any foreign. Power, quite to the contrary. So he, but yeah, they literally these Persian monarchists, they do polls of like.
Is there anything else?
And,
okay, you can pause it right there. Walk me through this.
Oh, I owe you an apology.
No, but tell me this. It's not. I'm not. I don't want an apology. I enjoy talking to you. Last time we spoke, I think out of the 7 clips that we posted, 3 of them was upset. Because it was comments you made that were bad against Mossad, and I thought it was very revealing. I thought it was great. But walk me through each of these. Number 1, hardcore Zionist, 100% backer of Pahlavi, and then 94%.
Yeah,
I mean that's
okay. The reason I said that is because
but
he is though. Like, why is he pissed? See, here's the thing about these Shah. Bro. They'll sit there and they'll say, "Oh, we want the Shah. Islam is bad." Blah blah blah, and then they'll be like, "All right, yeah, you like the Shah. You're a monarchist. You're." Well, not really. I just want freedom for my people, bro. Like these guys. Oh my god, man! I just called them shot
You're not
tards.
Asking for it by saying that.
Yeah, these dudes are shot tards, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I won't make this too long-winded because I want to make sure we don't interrupt I don't interrupt the video too much because I go on these tangents. But like again, this is why John is calling him a Zionist, because when you use these anti-IRGC kind of talking points in this rhetoric, it's fine because we know the IRGC isn't the prettiest. Exactly. We know the IRGC isn't the prettiest regime in the world, but that unfortunately renders you a Zionist whether you realize it or not, because you are serving their agenda directly by pushing that line of thinking, as well as the fact that if the IRGC doesn't exist, well then it gets exactly what they want. They get to do whatever they want. And I don't know if Patrick Bet David realizes that, but that's why he comes off as a Zionist. Even Kiriakou believed at one point he was Jewish. He thought he was Jewish for a second because of how hard his rhetoric was in favor of people. So, all these Iranian diaspora, secular, monarchist, Shah-like individuals.
They wave the flag, they put the lion flag. Like, bro, if you wave a lion flag, you're literally you're a mouth breather. If I see you waving the Iranian flag with the lion in it, 9 out of 10 times you're a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you sit here and support the country that led to the destruction of your country? Like, people forget that it was the United States and England that originally toppled their government. They're a democratically elected official. And Dinesh D'Souza tried to lie and say he wasn't democratically elected. Yes, he was. He was elected via the parliament. So
they don't know that. That's like, a part that the propaganda, of course, tries very hard to skip over. But he was democratically elected, and that power structure has existed for the longest. So, but that's what all led to, like, Steven Crowder was reacting to something earlier. I think Chris Cuomo was going on about the fact that the uranium is not really that big of an issue and whatever, and he was right. But they brought up a clip of Trump in the 80s, and Trump was talking about, or the 90s, I can't remember, Trump was talking about the hostage situation in the embassy and everything like that. But that all stems from U.S. intervention. Like, that doesn't stem from this, like, Islam. Yep. And it's really like the best litmus test for me. If I see that you are blaming Islam for the situation in Iran, right away I know you're not educated on history. Yeah. Because if you were, you would know Iran's instability has nothing to do with their religious base. Yeah. It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it's all foreign intervention. Literally all foreign intervention, bro. Since 1953. And it's really embarrassing how the Shah-tards don't know that.
Absolutely.
Like, Nick didn't just show up in 1979 after 20 years of rule, kicking you out for no reason, bro. Like, dudes got rid of you because you were pimping the country out. You were giving the United States and England a significant amount of revenue from the petroleum companies, and you privatized it instead of making it state, instead of having it be, you allowed it to be privatized so foreign countries and governments will make money versus nationalized.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tell on how much these individuals like Patrick Bet-David and others lack information in the early Shah days and how the dynamic worked. Yeah, completely out of touch.
Like, he left Iran when he was 11, dude. Like, bro, you left Iran when you were 11 years old. Like, I lived in New York City.
IRGC wasn't even
9 years old, dude. Like, I don't consider myself a New Yorker at all.
Yeah. So it's the thing is, like, that's what I'm saying. Islam is just the easiest punching bag for this situation. They don't want to get into the history. They don't want to say the difficult truth. What caused the hostage situation that lasted over 400 days? What cooked Jimmy Carter? Like, Ronald Reagan had to clean it up. It's really just the matter of fact that Islam is the easiest punching bag to kind of distract people from the real problem, which is the United States. MI6, all of these different intelligence corporations had gotten involved, or intelligence agencies got involved and started a problem they were never really able to put a cap on. We never put that fire out, and we're paying for it now today. And Trump's trying to put the fire out, but obviously the fires got too big. The fires got too big to put out right away. To now, half of our interceptor missiles in the region have now run dry. Did you see that today? There was a mainstream kind of wave of reports, narrative, and this whole narrative, it was titled "The Fact That the United States is Running Out of a Large Amount of our Patriot missile interceptor systems that are responsible for defending several other neighboring countries in the Gulf." So, we created this issue. We started it. And instead of trying to fix it diplomatically, like we kind of already had going in 2016, we try to attack it head on. And that's proved to be pretty ineffective.
Yeah.
Whose appearance, number one.
Yep.
And the comments that you've made about Pahlavi, like, why hasn't this guy called me back? I want him on the show. Like, why? He's irrelevant. He's a clown.
Why hasn't he called me back? I had him on the show 2 times.
Yeah, but when you first invited him.
Do you know why? Do you know what happened there? He's asking for help. Because the interviewer, the Iranian interviewer that interviewed me, is asking me, are you going to help him? Are you going to help Reza Pahlavi? And we're speaking in Farsi and English. And I said, no. He asked me for help. I never heard back from him. But I made some very bad remarks about the guy. Have you heard what I've said about them?
No. I'd love to.
I don't know how you must not know how monarchists think of me right now.
No.
Do you know they can't stand me today?
Good.
No, it's not good. I liked his father. I don't think he's a strong leader.
He's not.
He was following me. His wife was following me. His daughter was.
All right, but you liked his father, so.
Follow me. Everybody unfollowed. The monarchists attacked me because I called them. Oh, it is in shambles with me in that relationship, Rob. Maybe play a clip of what I said in the podcast if you want to play that.
That's a badge of honor.
You're going to leave Iran and go. And by the way, you know what's the biggest thing that Iranian people are saying? Hey, Reza Pahlavi, why don't you go to Azerbaijan and say a few words from there? Come closer to Iran. Show some stuff. He's not doing it. The one thing about Trump, let me tell you what was very crystal clear about Trump, about Milei, about Bukele. You know what it was? because they're willing to do the legwork. They're willing to go out there. They're willing to pay a price. They're willing to drive. They're willing to work their tails off. It's very obvious. We, the market, said, who is this crazy Elvis-looking guy from Argentina? There is no way he'll ever win making out with people on stage. Guess what? He won. Who is this Bukele guy that's in his early mid-30s? And by the way, let me give you what's going to be confusing. I have a painting of his dad in my house. So I'm a fan of his father. So this is not like a bash towards the family.
Bro, the dad was way worse.
Yeah.
Like,
he's referring to the previous Shah.
Yeah, the one
in
that
Iran,
got
guys.
kicked
If you're
out.
not familiar, from 53 to 53 to 79, Operation Ajax to the actual Islamic Revolution, and then now they're talking about Reza Pahlavi, who is the son of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who was the former leader of Iran before the whole regime change situation took place in 79.
This right
so
here.
just so if you guys are confused, because they have the same name,
yeah.
So this gets confusing.
Here he is right here. This is the guy that got kicked out in 1979.
Former leader.
He was a former leader.
Yes.
And this is the guy that privatized the oil industry, which the United States and England exploited and recognized. So the reason why England and the United States all work together with their intelligence agencies to get this guy out, put this guy in, is because he privatized the petroleum industry, which is what Mossadegh tried to not do. Mossadegh tried to nationalize it so the country would benefit from the resources. This guy comes in and privatizes it. These other countries make a bunch of money. The people don't see the benefit from their own resources. Private companies make all the profit. And he had a very brutal secret police called the Savak, who used to go out and torture and kill people that were critical of the government. And obviously, the United States, in exchange for putting him in power, they got the oil revenue and then got the benefit of being recognized. I think Iran was one of the first countries in the region to recognize Israel's sovereignty. So that's why was involved, because they needed allies in the region. And in exchange, they got U.S. support. That's why they got the F-4s and the fighter jets that they have now. These all came from the Shah era, because this guy was pro-West. But yeah, dude, this dude completely betrayed his country. And this is why so many people hate the Shah, because he ended up just becoming a puppet for the West.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, we can go back to, but this is who my brother's talking about. And this is who PBD is talking about.
This is towards, I was critical of him because for 47 years he's been talking about he wants to have Iran be free, and he didn't do it. And keep in mind, a part of me is, that's the painting in my house. That's a 15-foot painting. His father's right in the middle. My criticism is of him. But I was watching it, I'm like, why? Did somebody tell you I'm a Zionist?
Yeah.
Did you? Who's that?
It was in the chat.
No, but
I was reading the chat.
Did any other influencers that you go and do?
I mean, he is a Zionist.
Yeah.
Why is he trying to like walk it back? Like, bro, you support, like, you've been, you support Adam Sosnick, your co-host, is a hardcore Zionist. You agree with him. You support the war. Like, you don't have to say I'm a Zionist for us to know that you're a Zionist. You support Zionist talking points. You support the state of. You had Netanyahu on the show. Like, you are a Zionist, my friend. You didn't ask him any tough questions.
Yeah, and the reason why it's easy to say that is because there's no neutrality when it comes to this topic in the Middle East. You either are against and their policy, you're against our foreign policy in support of it, and you viciously condemn that on a consistent basis, or you straddle the line and you're in favor of a war in Iran that does nothing except address the proxy situation that Israel has to deal with on a day-to-day basis when they try and violate the sovereignty of its neighbors. So it's really annoying and kind of frustrating when Patrick Bet-David goes, well, I don't know why you're saying this to me like I'm a Zionist. Well, it's like, hey, because you don't do anything when it comes to condemnation of it. And they've exacerbated so many already pre-existing issues in the region. And now that we're at war with Iran, in the beginning, let's not act silly. We can pull up the clips. You, Vinny, and Adam were raving about how this is going to be a successful operation, and the United States is making an ultimately good decision, and we should get the Shah back in power. Maybe not Reza Pahlavi, but something like the Shah. Bring the Shah days back. So you got the guy framed in your house, right? So there's no secret that obviously your interests are parallel with interest. At the same time, you just so casually happen to hate Islam. And maybe you have never said that, but you never hesitate or skip the opportunity to take a dig at Islam to push your rhetoric further. And that's all the base of Zionist propaganda and Zionist talking points and Hasbara that you see every single day on Fox News and X and all the other outlets. So again, we are not saying you're a Zionist because you said on your show, unless he has. I don't think he's ever said it verbatim or explicitly that he's a Zionist, but it's really that his ideological centering is very similar to that of a Zionist. So it's not a derogatory term. It's not this degrading term. We're just calling what we see. It's just funny how he's getting defensive. However, I'd be surprised to see if he tries to deny it. So YB Lit, thank you so much for the $10.
Reviews with, did anybody whisper to you off camera, hey,
and
be
then
careful
also,
with Patrick,
Riyadh,
he's a Zionist?
After
Yes.
this, we got to go back to the Randy Fine thing with the hadith, and he said some bullshit about like a behind a rock or whatever. I want you to kind of explain that. We'll do Randy Fine after this. Yeah, go back to him.
Yes.
Who was that?
Oh, I don't want to out him like that, but he said, "Oh, you're going on PBD." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Be careful. Patrick comes out swinging on it."
Is this a big name?
Yeah, it's a pretty big name.
One of the biggest names? So then I know who it is.
I don't want to out
Was
him.
his family in the CIA before, maybe?
I've got to stop.
Okay. All right.
But I want to apologize on the
Tucker.
record because I was
Talking
wrong.
about Tucker.
Okay.
Talking about Tucker.
100%.
Yeah.
So that and the BB side, because
But it's true. And I hate this dishonesty. It's like, hey, bro, just draw the line in the sand and be honest about where you stand. I would respect that so much more than doing this vague straddle the line cover up like, well, why are you saying I'm a Zionist? Like, bro, well, because
You are.
the whole line of your thinking and all your talking points are Zionistic.
And
like,
I don't know why
how
Kiriakou
else
was
to put it.
like being a about it. Like, dude, just say what it is. You support the Shah. That in of itself makes you a Zionist because they want to overthrow the government. Who also wants to overthrow the government? You had the Shah on. You condemn Islam every single time you get a chance. You're pro-war, right? You're supportive of the war generally speaking. What else? You've been in multiple times. You had Netanyahu on and didn't ask him any hard questions. Your co-host is a hardcore Zionist, right? You bring on pro-Israel voices way more than anti-voices. You refuse to criticize. Like through deductive problem solving, anyone can see that he is a Zionist. He is. He just doesn't like to overtly say that, right? He likes to keep it ambiguous. You have a consulting business where a lot of your clients that probably come to you are Zionists, right? It's bad for business. Yeah. You are closely aligned with the Trump administration, who are Zionists. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it just, I don't know why Kiriakou is not, maybe he doesn't know PBD as good as we do, but, dude, yes, he is a Zionist. I don't know why he's not like just saying like, yes, you are, bro. Like, you are a Zionist.
The context clues are everywhere, and they've been everywhere. So
yeah, I mean, the fact that
boiling under the pressure, he doesn't want to be confrontational. I'm not sure, but
I'm trying to think about it. Has he brought on recently like any big voices that are critical of Israel this year?
Not to my knowledge, but in all honesty, I don't pay attention to much of his uploads or his guests. Of course, he has in the past, but that's really because he was kind of left with no choice.
Like in the last year, I don't think so. Someone said Nick, he brought Nick on because it had an enormous amount of pressure on him, and he had to do it.
Yeah,
and he pre-recorded
no
it. He didn't live stream it as well. I don't know if you guys caught on to that. Like he pre-recorded it.
It was a premiere,
and he premiered it. So So that was because he was getting ratioed and like that on X, and he just had to do it. And that was last year. But this year, I don't think he's brought on any voices critical of it. Because even John Kiriakou, I shouldn't admit this, I'm going to say. Do you know that me and Sneeko had an interview lined up with him and they backed out last second?
Wow,
Bomb dropped.
I thought it was Sneeko.
Yeah, me too. He backed out. He something to do with like for legal reasons he can't work with us. I was like, what?
Yeah,
what
you know what my inclining is when I saw that? It must have to do with the club cost. I think that was the most recent wave of like cancellation, if you will, that you guys had received, and so that being kind of fresh on the radar recently this year, because it was the beginning of this year, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, kind of scared him.
Like, and that's what. Yeah, apparently, like they said he got signed with like some talent agency, and like for legal reasons he can't work with me. And I was like, what? I was like, I'll read that shit verbatim, bro, because that shit kind of pissed me off. Because they wanted me to go talk at one of his events, and I was like, sure, but I would like to have him on the show. And they said, we were recently informed that John is officially signed with CAA last night. His reps advised that he is no longer able to participate in your podcast or our April 10th event due to legal reasons. What the
That makes no sense.
And he said it would just be so much more legal reasons.
And it would just be so much more refreshing if they were honest and said.
And they did the same thing to Sneeko. And it said it came directly from the thing. And I was like, what the like, bro, do you know what I used to do for work? Like, I didn't get convicted of any felonies ever. Like, I used to work in law enforcement. Like, if anything, Kiriakou's gotten in more legal trouble than I have. But that just goes to show.
He absolutely, he 100% has.
Bro, like, what the fuck? Like, he got convicted of espionage. Like, you're telling me I didn't get convicted of any of this shit? It's like, oh, sorry, for legal reasons, we can't fuck with you. Translation, you got the call. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, you got the call. Like, that's literally what it is. And it's amazing to me how the guy that went to jail for espionage is scared to work with me because I'm critical of it. That just goes to show how much power they have, bro. That just goes to show how much power they have. And I know Kiriakou's like talks about Mossad or whatever, but like he kind of keeps it there. He keeps it at Mossad and Zionism. He doesn't go into like the other shit, which I get it. But like, bro, what the like? That's weird.
And at least be front facing and honest and say, hey, it's because you're too controversial instead of saying legal reasons.
Yeah, get the matter with that.
Like, just be honest and upfront that you're worried about your image, right?
Yeah,
So-
like don't fucking say legal reasons to a former special agent. Like, bro, I broke no laws and I don't break any laws. So that's some right there. And I told the guy, I was like, dude, I was used to work in law enforcement. What the fuck are you talking about? So that made me like really, lose an insane amount of respect for this guy. It's like, bro, are you serious? So
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, but yeah, they did the same shit to me too. It's what is it? Creative Artist Agency is American Talent and Sports Agency. All right, let me look.
Well, here's the thing too yeah, go ahead, do your do your deep dive, your early life find. Here's the thing too that I'll say quickly while you're pulling that up.
Look, hold on. Before you look at this shit, bro. Oh my God, bro. Really?
Every single time.
Hold on.
Every single crime.
Go ahead, put it on the big
Every
screen.
single lie. Early lie. Every single hour. Every single day. Every single.
So William Morris Agency, okay. Michael Ovitz, Michael S. Rosenfeld, Ronald Mayer, Roland Perkins, Romanian. Michael Rosenfeld,
Oh my God.
Ronald Mayer, Roland Perkins. Let's see here. I can't see if it says he's here.
Here you go.
Is he?
No. I was saying you're in personal life. That's crazy.
Bro, so let me get this straight, bro. He gets signed to this agency, and then immediately 3 of the 4 we know are confirmed. I don't know if this Roland Perkins guy is or not, but yeah, formed by 5 agents. Hilarious, bro. It's like, it's like the stereotypes don't end. So it's like, seriously, dude?
And what I was going to say, the thing with John Kiriakou that I've noticed, but I've refrained from saying, is he has kind of leaned into this public image he has of being this former CIA guy. And so, of course, that falls in line with what would be normal. He wants to capitalize and be famous for it. Can't blame him. But of course, he's still straddling the line of being safe and not being canceled, of being like this former operative that tells the truth about it. And that's just because it's popular right now to do it. And I want to say this really personally, this is something that I feel passionate about or strongly about. Everybody now
He is Trent, I just confirmed. Roland Perkins is. So all of them are bruh.
Every single time. Every single
So pretty much the guy that complains about Mossad is owned by people.
Now he is, yeah.
Unbelievable.
As soon as he signed that thing, because he just signed. So we're probably going to see a decline in him criticizing it. 4 for 4,
100%.
bro. Niggas got the Wendy special.
That was easy.
Away from it. But that's unfortunate because that's exactly what got him all the craze. That's exactly what made him so mainstream, is him talking about you were gonna die tomorrow. Like, that's his whole thing, talking about the Iranian scientists and their threats from Mossad agents. Like, he had the inside lore. He's the guy who said he bets that Operation Midnight Hammer was because of an blackmail nuclear threat.
Yeah.
So this is the guy that has kind of leaned into a very high level political analysis that is critical of and shows you how they undermine and control our government. But this is the thing, and this is kind of what I'm noticing as a recurring pattern, is like all these guys that are now coming into the space, whether they're former CIA or former military or whatever, and there's so many guys, who I'm talking about. I don't need to say their names explicitly. They're all leaning into this pro-America, anti sentiment, and it's only because of the fact that it's popular to do it.
Yeah.
And I know that may seem so obvious, but it's like, these not really doing it for the love of the game, bro.
Not at all.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not for the love of the game. It's not for the battle of the truth. It's not to be a truth martyr. It's not to really talk about what's right. It's because this is what the appetite calls for. This is what the craving is from the public. And it's increasingly become a lot more acceptable to do it. And I hate that, because now he's in front of Patrick Bet-David and you called him a Zionist when you weren't in front of him. Stand on business. This is your moment to shine and show that you're grounded ideologically. And he just pulls back.
Especially
and
when
to me, that's
his,
so dishonest.
Yeah, and especially when like a lot of PBD's fan base is like pissed off that he's so pro. Like their viewership has declined quite a bit.
Yeah. Like if there's a time to stand on business,
it's right now.
Like right now.
Now we know why. Because here's the thing. They asked me to speak at this event. I said sure. I want to have him on the show. Cool. All right. So they asked me and Sneeko to show up. We're down. Then he signs with his agency, gets the call literally, and it says sorry for legal reasons. He just signed with this agency. Can't work with you guys anymore. I look up the agency. All 4 of the founders are. Like, are you serious? Like bro got the call and just had to cancel. Like, that's fucking pathetic. You know what I mean? It's pathetic. So, made me lose a lot of fucking respect that you invite someone and you want to work with them and then you fucking back out because you signed to an agency that's owned by. Like, are you serious? This is so pathetic, dude. Go ahead. What was that? What are you gonna say?
All right. You know I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Somebody goes, Riyadh, it's deeper. Google image search, creative artist agency aerial photos. Look at the courtyard. Your brother will know. This is crazy.
Go ahead,
Hang on.
share it.
Can you see that? No, you can't. Hang on. That's crazy. I'll share it with you right now. So the agency that owns this guy now, this is an aerial footage, or sorry, an aerial photo of their headquarters. I don't know where it's actually located. And you know I'm not a conspiracy theorist, bro. You know I don't lean into this shit. But that is a little bit odd. That is a little bit odd. Like that closely resembles like the whole pyramid eye thing. Like that is that is a little bit weird. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my God. Of course. Every single time, bro.
See now the chameleon shit here, that's a stretch to me, but this is a little bit like, okay, that had to be on purpose. Come on. So
yeah, bro.
That's funny. That's a nice little treat. Thanks for the
and I didn't want to put him on blast for this. Like I wasn't gonna like say anything about it, but yo, like now that I'm like looking at this, it gets annoying because it's like I had like set time aside to do this. And then they message me and say, oh, sorry, we can't do it. So clearly it's not, they wanted to work with me first. So they like the content, obviously big enough to collab with. They want me to go to this event. Cool. Then once he signs to this agency, oh, nah, sorry, he's too controversial. We can't do it. And then I look up the agency that he signed with, trying to say legal reasons. No, bro, it's just because I'm critical of it. Like, I'm not, like, with all due respect, John Kiriakou is a convicted felon. I've never broken a law in my life, right? Barely even get speeding tickets. But like, because of my political views and my criticisms of his, I'm more demonized. Isn't that crazy? Absolutely nuts, dude. So yeah, I lost a lot of respect for him for that because it's like, dude, you want to do a collab. Now you're backing out because you got the call. Pathetic.
Yeah. Well, that's where my frustration is from, right?
Yeah.
These people that kind of are two-faced and they play it like they're for the cause. They play it like they're on the right side. They're on the truth, but really it's like almost a grift, you know, it's a LARP in a way.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't going to expose that, but it, bro, it is what it is. But yeah, basically me and Sneeko, they both said no bro, after he signed to this agency CAA.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know who's the only person in the world that interviewed BB and Nick Fuentes within 30 days?
It's got to be you.
It's only me.
It's got to be.
Bro.
Right and a wrong. You did a good thing and you did a bad thing. What are you trying to say there? I give everybody the chance to talk. Like,
nah,
come on,
man.
bro. You should never. Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu is a wanted war criminal. This guy kills people for a living. That's quite literally what he does. It's not a flex that you had him on the show. That's why you got so much flack for it.
And didn't get any questions. And then again, that actually proves
softball interview.
Actually, that proves even more proves more what I was gonna say. He brought Nick on because he was getting a lot of pressure to bring him on. Like people were calling him Patrick Betstar, David, all this other stuff. So what he did was like, you know what? I'm gonna have Netanyahu on. Let me do Nick as well. We're gonna pre-record Nick, and then he put them on at the same time so he can like escape the headaches.
And it wasn't an ambush on Nick, but the questions he asked him were really front-facing and really direct.
Yeah,
that had to do with Nick's ideological basis.
He challenged
whereas
Nick
with
way
Netanyahu,
more.
it was softball. Yep. Yeah, and he challenged Nick way more, and there was a motivation and hunger to have Nick on the show. There was no motivation or hunger to have Benjamin Netanyahu. Totally optional. So it's like, you know,
nobody was asking to interview that Nick, bro. Nobody's like, yo, bring Netanyahu on.
Who wants to interview him?
Yeah.
Besides Adam. Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts.
So you know,
he only brought Nick on to, number one, deal with the headache, but in response to pressure. But now I'm glad that he actually mentioned that. I had Nick and Netanyahu on in the same month. Oh, now it makes sense why you pre-recorded it. You wanted to be able to say, I brought Nick on and Netanyahu to kind of save face for the inevitable headache that would come from the Netanyahu interview.
Yep, precisely the bragging right he's exercising right now. He wanted to be able to say that.
Yeah,
you're completely right.
Good call. Yeah.
What the problem is with me, John? This is the problem.
Oh, and then one more thing I want to say.
People,
because he learned from Nelk's mistake. Nelk's dumb brought him on, and then
they did a little damage control with you for like 10 seconds, and you fried them.
Yeah, like
that was.
So Patrick saw what happened with them, so he said, "Nah, let me not do this." And then he intelligently brought both on to do that. But yeah, with Nelk, they put him on too, and they got cooked for that shit. And then they did a whole damage control stream after, and collab with a bunch of they would never otherwise talk to.
They had you on, they had Nick on. I think they spoke to Sneeko about it.
Yep.
They did
Piker,
they got fried for that, and then they went straight to like the JQ Avengers. That shit was so funny.
Yeah.
It was like right away, it's like, all right, quick, like counterbalance, like we have to go the other way now.
Bro, Rad, you want to know how I know it's bad? The day after, they dropped the interview. The day they dropped the interview, I get a call like 1 p.m. One of the guys that I work with that I know, he hits me up and says, "Yo, Nelk needs you." I was like, "What?" And I was asleep. And they're like, they need you. They want you to come on." I was like, "What happened?" They got some questions about whatever. I was like, "What the?" So I thought that was weird. And then I opened up my YouTube, and I saw that they had just done a Netanyahu interview. I was like, "What?" And then I'm half asleep, bro, crossing my eyes. I'm like, "What's going on here?" And I click and I see I was like, "Wait, these interviewed Netanyahu," and then I look at the comment section. I was like, "Oh!" And then everything fell into place.
Everybody was pissed.
Yeah, because I was like, "Why are the because Steiny, I was supposed to do something with Steiny before. This is my frame of mind why I was so shocked. I was supposed to do something with Steiny like years ago, right? Like with that one night with Steiny, was supposed to bring some girl on, blah, blah, blah. I was supposed to do something with them for a minute. And then like, it never ended up going through. I was like, okay, it's probably because he's and he doesn't like what I'm saying, whatever. Because for those of you guys that don't know, Steiny's dad is like a high-powered attorney that defended a Jewish spy, right? So obviously they're pro. So so what ended up happening was when I got the call from the mutual friend, I was like, that's fucking weird, because I knew Kyle and them also didn't want to work with us because we were too controversial because of this shit, right? Because man, I'm really getting into the lore. The Happy Dad are Zionists. I think they're like Iranian Jews. So they never really, you know, we're bad for business for them. I'll just keep it simple. The Happy Dad people, it's owned by these dudes. I think they're Jewish or Iranian, whatever. So I knew that like a collab with them probably wasn't going to happen because of my political views, and I was fine with that. But when they hit me up randomly, I was very skeptical. And that's when I looked at their page and I saw that they had interviewed Netanyahu, and I saw the comment section, like, oh shit, these are getting air fried. So then I kind of like watched it a little bit, and I was like, oh, they didn't ask no tough questions. They're over here talking about Burger King or whatever. So when I jumped on there, and then when I got on, I saw them talking to Nick, because I needed time real quick to get ready and set my shit up. So they had already been talking to Nick at the time, and I was like, oh yeah, full on damage control. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that was
it was a really bad move, right? You have a softball interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. You're not politically involved at all. So it shows that you were paid to do the interview or something like that.
Yeah.
You don't do politics whatsoever. The first moment you ever step into politics, you have Benjamin Netanyahu on your show. And then you ask him, McDonald's or Burger King?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you know, the Whopper's amazing. You can't go wrong with the Whopper. Regulated. And he goes, you guys are regulated? We have free speech. So that was just a show. And honestly, it deserved a negative response. It was a big mistake on their part, but they really should have known better. You know, it was a big mistake.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'd even admit to that, you know, like that was a mistake.
No, and the other thing too, like this is why they did it, because obviously they're in that Trump circle. They're all Zionists. So like in their head, they're like, oh, it's a good idea to do this. And it's like, no, dude, it's really not a good idea at all.
Not a good idea whatsoever.
So yeah, I'm looking to see if the owners, the owners of Happy Dad are Jewish. It says they're not. The Shahidi brothers. I think they're Iranians. Yeah, they're Iranian Americans of Kurdish heritage. They're probably pro-Shah.
100, yeah, most likely.
They're probably pro-Shah. Yeah, like, yeah, they're 100% pro-Shah more than likely. But most American Iranians are pro-Shah, and they're out of California. So, okay, but yeah, I digress, but.
That one freedom of speech, that pitch it, don't practice it.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? They generally want to only talk to people that agree with them.
Yes.
You and I don't agree on maybe a few things.
No, which is why I so enjoy
the conversation.
Yes,
I love the
too.
conversation because my thoughts are, Alicia, just bring it to me. It's totally fine. My thoughts are, it's like, man, I don't know. He's a CIA guy. He must know more than I do.
Oh,
he has
no.
some experience. So I want to know. But
no, I'm wrong, and I apologize.
No, let's go to the other one because I want to clear all of this up. Let's go to the one about when you said 94%. I'd love to know when I said 94%. Rob, can you take one of the language learning models? Matter of fact, why don't we do both of them? Take ChatGPT and do Grok and ask a question. How do you want to pose this question? What percentage of Iranians don't support the IRGC? What percentage of Iranians don't support the IRGC? Okay, ask the same exact question. So what we'll typically do is we'll ask different and we'll go do our own, and then we'll look at the numbers that's being given. Okay.
Wow.
This is which one? What does it say? Around 80 to 92% of Iranians appear to not support the IRGC. Based on available polls, supportedly like them. The direct polling on the IRGC is challenged and due to Iran repression, surveillance, and self-censorship. Okay, great. Leaked internal Iranian government poll 2025 commissioned by the presidency. A confidential report found 92% of Iranians hate the regime. And that's from Yahoo, explicitly including Supreme Leader Khamenei and the IRGC, not just specific officials or policies.
Who are
this
these
was
people, though?
cited by Iranian
That's what I want to know. Where are these Iranians located? Are these like Iranians in Iran?
Yeah. And look, first of all, Iran is a rogue nation that has been ostracized by the global community per the command of the United States with our sanctions that we've imposed on them. And so numbers that you get out of Iran are already questionable because are they even coming from Iranian sources? And if they are, like Iran Intel or anything everything else, you still got to look at what's happening on the ground now and the rally around the flag effect. This is something that everybody strategically steps over. Prior to this conflict, even if more than half of Iranians were not in favor of the IRGC, so that's fine. And I'll be gracious enough to even concede to that without trying to dig deeper. My whole point and the contention that I have is this war changed that. So if you wanted people to hate the IRGC, well, now they've just had a butterfly effect exacerbated for them on the global stage. They are the ones that are subject to a United States and joint strikes. They are the victims in this situation. We have made them look better than they have ever looked because we started a problem that they did not start. We started a problem and they're the ones who are simply responding by holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage and trying to weaponize it so they can somehow come out of this victorious. Has the malicious, bloodthirsty intent of regime changing the IRGC, right or wrong? Right. Okay, so we can at least discern that they are trying to protect their sovereignty as a religious group of people. Paired along with the fact that the Iranians as a whole, whether they support the IRGC or not, definitely do not like the United States and definitely do not like Israel. I think that's one thing that we can actually agree upon. And by the way, the same people that always say people hate the IRGC, they love America, but you also weaponize the fact that Iranians scream death to America. So which side is stronger and which side is in the larger number? You're using conflicting ideologies to push your narrative for this war that has a bogus pretext, that being nuclear issues, when the nuclear issues are only actually going to become something that's worth concerned about when we attack them, because that's when they will stop hedging and start creating. So this whole like 94%, 80%, 60%, it's irrelevant, because if the number's ever been against the United States in a high amount, well, it's now, because we just started a war for no reason. And by the way, how do you think Iranians feel when Donald Trump says, well, we're going to bomb power plants? He's made that threat twice. End of civilization. Do you think that they're still on his side? Does that sound like he actually cares about the Iranian people? No, he's a narcissistic egomaniac who's losing his mind real time and wants to show that he's not losing this war by any stretch of the imagination, which means he'll go as far as to sabotage peace deals by blocking the ports so that they will continue to block the Strait of Hormuz. I don't want to go too crazy here, but remember, Abbas Araghchi on Friday said the strait is open and we're on our way to peace, right? That's obviously an indirect implication that we're on our way to peace. We've opened the Strait of Hormuz. Then Donald Trump blocks the ports, and the Ghalibaf, the parliament speaker, says, yo, if you block the ports, we're going to have to block the Strait of Hormuz. You are trying to destroy us economically. There's malice in that. Yep. So, it's like top to bottom. This is all and honestly, it's just frustrating. It gets to a point because I consume this all day. I see it all day. This is like a claim of omission. You're strategically always stepping around the facts every single time. If there's ever a time where the IRGC has been the world's favorite, the world's leader, there's been like this mujahideen in the 80s effect now with the IRGC. Haven't you noticed that? And everybody else, like now there's actually like more support for the Iranians than there ever has been globally. So they're kind of viewed like the Osama bin Laden, anti-Soviet mujahideen, American patriot, Middle Eastern freedom fighters. That's what the IRGC effectively has become today.
Chat, when we say mujahideen, be clear, because some here are I don't want them to misconstrue what you said.
Before
Osama
clarify.
became radicalized, guys, he was loved all across the world because he fought against the Russians and won. We're talking about before 9/11, before he became radicalized. We actually backed him in the 80s, right? In the 70s and 80s when he fought against the Russians in Afghanistan, because he volunteered his money and his resources because he was a multi-millionaire, okay? His family actually was worth billions in today's dollars. And he went over to Afghanistan and funded the fight and was in the mountains fighting with these against the Russians. So he came back a hero after, and that was the Mujahideen before Al-Qaeda. So that's what my brother's referring to. I don't want in here to try to say some shit and be like, oh, are you talking about Osama? Prior to 9/11, Osama was respected all across the world for fighting off the Russians.
Yeah, he was revered.
Yeah.
And so it's now the same thing with the IRGC to some degree. Of course, you've got leftists who are against this war, but everybody else, so it is actually a thing. Quickly, I'll read these chats. By the way, I don't even do this often. SK1, I see you spamming the chat. I get that you're probably pro Shah. You hate the IRGC. Look, bro, I'm not going to engage with you and debate you. Enjoy the show or leave, bro. I'm sorry. We just don't agree, and it's that simple.
I'll take it a step further. How are what we said wrong? I'm looking at your chat right now. What's his name? SK what?
SK1UX.
No,
Desert Joe got
sometimes you gotta, don't time this out, bro. Let's see what this retard's got to say. Because here's the thing, dude. Sometimes you gotta get on someone in the chat, let them know they're retarded. I'll do it for you. You're still new. Let me be the asshole here. SK1. How are we wrong? Somebody untime him, bro. Brad, can you untime him? Because sometimes you gotta talk to these and let them make their argument, and then you embarrass them on a grand stage.
All right.
How
He's
are we
back
wrong?
up.
Please tell me. And then this other nigga says the IRGC got to go. Bro, nobody is over here cheering for the IRGC. We're just telling you that thanks to us attacking them, we have legitimized the IRGC. Why can no one ever like use any critical thinking skills? It's like if you say something positive about an organization, oh, you're pro that organization. No, bro, it's just that this war is really like
and
really
it's like it's being dense. It's being dense to the point where it genuinely gives you a headache because how many times have we refuted these idiotic claims? Absolutely stupid claims.
shotards, bro. You guys are literally. You don't even know. Most of you Iranians, like, number one, you haven't lived in the country in decades. You don't even know your history. You don't even know what the fuck, why things happen the way that they do. Do you realize that had it not been for the United States and Israel, you guys would have probably, their IRGC wouldn't have been created? The IRGC was created to fight against the United States and for intervening in their foreign affairs. Like, incredible. How
their sovereignty, because it's obvious that the goal of Israel is to remove the regime. That's why they created the axis of resistance. That's why they have the missiles program. That's why they've been hedging a nuke. And I'll go a step further. Iran could have made a nuke and they exercised the discipline not to. So it's this like whole like, oh, they have guerrilla warfare. They're crazy Muslims. No, they're actually probably smarter than a lot of Americans, unfortunately. Yeah. Which is why they've been able to survive that long. You know, you got to give credit where it's due. SK1's now saying, I don't support Shah, but I don't support IRGC too. All right, bro. Well, you were going sick, and don't think that I wasn't seeing it. So it's just like, it's fine. You
bitch, nigga, man.
Yeah, you have your opinion, whatever, but you're like blowing my chat up, and you're trying to like refute every point I'm making. And it's like, bro, you're wrong. So you're just simply wrong. You don't have to support the IRGC to condemn this war. That's what we're doing. We didn't say we just support the IRGC either. Did I ever say I'm pro-IRGC? No, I'm pro-America. And that means betting on the IRGC to have sovereignty over Iran for the foreseeable future. That's what that means. And I've said that to you and I've responded to your super chats. So
then now he says, I also don't condemn what Israel's doing. It's horrific. I think you mean I do condemn what Israel's doing. It's horrific. Yeah, so bro, what do you want then, dude? Like, first you don't support the Shah. You don't got to support any of them, bro. But like, realistically speaking, what we're referring to is that the world is on Iran side because we attacked them first in a pointless optional war. That's what we're trying to tell you. I don't know why you don't understand that and you're being a
100%.
And I would argue
100%.
that people support Iranians support the IRGC way more than the Shah, bro. Like way more. The only people that still support the Shah are diaspora. So
yeah, or those out of touch with history for sure and hate Islam. It's really people who hate Islam so much to the point where their judgment is now poorly clouded. That's really what I kind of notice. It's like people who just, you know, use the anti-Islamic rhetoric and it kind of destroys all of their judgment. And that's what you see, right? Look at all the guys, and this is actually a good point. Look at all the people who are like very anti-Islam. They always have horrible Middle Eastern foreign policy. And it's not even because of the fact that directly it's that they hate Muslims. No, it's that they hate Muslims for all the right reasons according to the Zionist agenda. So it kind of always overshadows their ability to be able to give a honest political analysis. That doesn't mean you have to be pro-Muslim. Doesn't mean you have to be this, even go as far as Tucker Carlson, right? But the ones who like genuinely hate Islam, spend all their time talking about it, always bash it, drag it down. That's fine. They're entitled to that opinion. This isn't a theological podcast, but what I'm trying to tell you is that always clouds and overshadows their judgment, and they're never able to make a good discernment or a real legitimate analysis as to what's going on in the region. You know, so it's perfect. It's the perfect antidote for the Zionist lobby and all of them as a whole to infect the United States with, which has worked for the last 20 years up until very recently.
Yeah, this guy doesn't even know the difference between. This dude doesn't even know the difference between condone and condemn. Bro, yo, I hate when try to come in and like give their opinion, bro. I don't want to be an whatever, but there's a reason why you are watching us and no one's watching you. Shut the fuck up. All right, I hate to pull the authority card or whatever, but a lot of you are stupid. Like, this guy right here, Scoot, doesn't even know the difference between condemn and condone. Like, you're fucking okay, you're fucking, and we need to go back to telling people that they're fucking. Go look at a dictionary, figure out what words mean, then come back. Oh, well, you're saying that, like, Iranians don't like... Bro, what we're saying is, even if 50% of the people didn't like the government, now, with us bombing them and attacking them, we've united them and made them rally around the flag. Do you not understand what the rally around the flag concept is? That's what we're saying. Even the people that didn't like the government or didn't like the IRGC or don't like the supreme leader, guess what? They hate the United States and more. I don't know why I have to keep explaining this to you, man. So dude, it's incredible. It's incredible how some you are. It's like maxing. Mike Dixie, thank you for the 20 gifted. And sometimes you need someone to tell you to your face that you're So skew whatever the fuck your name is, you're an idiot. You're okay? Dude says Riyadh is more logical. No one is running around the flag. It's only the 10%. Shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. You're so did 10% hit the streets when they got attacked during the 12-day war? When they got attacked in a fucking blitzkrieg, when they were doing it in the middle of a bunch of negotiations, you bombed them, killed a whole bunch of their nuclear scientists, killed a bunch of their generals. People didn't take to the streets to say, hit them back, hit them back. People didn't say, we need to hit them back immediately. They had a Pearl Harbor. See, you're a Shah, some that probably drinks Happy Dad, says the Shah's awesome and watches PBD every day. But you're still over here watching us because you know that we're actually correct. We're not pushing a bunch of Zionist propaganda. Then they got attacked again in the middle of negotiations, and the supreme leader was killed and a bunch of military officials. Yo, you're so and since you're, let me explain to you what would happen. Let's say you're I don't know. Let's say you're a Trump supporter, okay? If something happened to Joe Biden 2 years ago, what would you probably do? You would say, I don't like Joe Biden, but I'll be if a foreign country is going to do anything and kill our president. We're going to rally around the flag. Same exact concept over there. I don't know why you don't understand this. It said 10%. Bro, way more than 10%. Like we didn't show you millions of people rallying all across Iran. Shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. So to send your to the shadow room right now because you're maxing and lowering the entire IQ of the chat. You need someone to stuff you in a fucking locker or give you a swirly or some shit. You're an idiot. You're so like I guarantee you're under the age of 30. Guaranteed. You don't get bullied enough saying something like that. In here talking, you don't even know the difference between condemn and condone. Like what? You're the type of to read the first chapter of the book and think you know the whole book. Shut the fuck up. You're an idiot. You're the type of to watch the beginning of a podcast, not actually learn anything from it, and think you know what the hell you're talking about. You're an idiot, man. You cliff note, man. Like you guys piss me off. Like it's just so. It's like you need to get a swirly or get thrown into a locker or some shit. You need bullying. You definitely need bullying. We need to go back to telling people they're high likelihood you take some kind of medication. More than likely, ADHD or ADD or some other like that. You're just. Oh my God, man. You're nicer to your chat than I am, bro. But that nigga, God. Bro.
Yeah. No, it was a good baking session, though. Really quick, let me read these chats and then we'll get back to
I don't read the first chapter. I lived here for 20 years and I'm 28. Well, you're also a sorry, go ahead, read your chats.
Okay, let's see. Riyadh, it's deeper. Oh, I read that already. Let me pull up all the super chats very quickly.
My whole family, all of my friends are there and no one supports them. Yo, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut the fuck up. Your family isn't all of Iran. Your family and your friends isn't all of Iran. Ask them seriously, who do they like more, Netanyahu or the IRGC? Let's see what they say.
Okay, let's see. EB Baltimore, $5. Why is Myron afraid to debate Nick Matau? Myron can't do any worse than Nico did. I'm not sure who that is, but I'll check out that debate after if they debated. My dad left 03. Listen, Riyadh and Myron, I'm a numbers guy, K. I lived there for 11 years. This guy, this guy. You have no idea. I could hear the bombs all the way from my German refugee camp in Glendale. Yeah, good. That's a good Patrick Bet-David impression right there. My dad left. Appreciate the work you do. F the Iranian diaspora. Thank you so much. My dad left. Milan says, 07, guys, great to watch both of you. WOSS, W, Myron, and you, man. God bless you, bro. Thank you so much. PFF1974 says, Altman and Musk AI states that a good percentage of Iranians are against the IRGC. And what does it on the U.S. do? Attack the civilians and sanction the people. Something isn't right there. Exactly. That's what and thank you, bro. Thanks for the $10. That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're a if you're a you read those numbers and go, oh yeah, that's 90%. But if you're smart and you can analyze and pay attention to who owns what and what narrative is beneficial for the United States to not look like we're losing in every aspect and sell some idea to the people, well, then you'll know that a lot of that is, especially after the 12-day war, where we bombed them without any provoke, and then as well as the fact that we bombed them again and started this war for 58 days, right? So we unprovokingly attacked them. Now we're doing it again. If it was 90%, it sure as hell isn't anymore. And then, yeah, you're absolutely right. Big AI, Zionist donors, they're all together. So, you're asking AI, you got to be careful. I don't want to be conspiratorial, but it's like, use your brain a little bit. You can't be so easily fooled. Punisher 5. And even you know what? I'll go so far as to say, even if that's true, I'm not Iranian. So I don't give a fuck. Okay, here, let's just actually be super real about it. Let's say the 90% is true, which it's not, and we've proved that for the last however long. We see the videos, we see people rallying around the flag, we see people in the streets hearing strikes behind them and screaming Allahu Akbar. Let's just say it's not true. At the end of the day, if the IRGC falls, that will be bad for America, period. And I am pro-American. I am American. I was born here, and I do love this country. So I don't give a about the situation in Iran if it means my country will be worse. How about that? Get that through your head. And that's my main priority. So even if I grant you that, it still does not negate my interests. My interests are for this fucking country. I'm being too fucking nice with the whole, well, no, actually, it's not 90%. It could be 100%. I'm American. So that's really something that needs to be said. Okay, Punisher says, that had me dying, W brother. That was funny. I was dying. Justice for JC. Please tell Shah supporter to watch Hypernormalization by Adam Curtis. Okay, he sees it now. My granda, I think you meant grandma, red pilled me on the boy. She is Austrian. Okay, thanks for the super chat. Easy, buddy. W Riyadh and Myron, best duo in the game, OSS. Thank you, Yami. Appreciate it. And thanks for joining as well. But yeah, bro, it's like, you know, it's like, I don't even care who says what about the IRGC. It cannot control the Middle East. That's the point.
Yeah.
You
They're going to take the IRGC before, like, you're missing the whole point that they're going to support the IRGC before they support Netanyahu. That's the biggest thing that you don't get. But you're a bro. You've been in the United States for 20 years. You've lost identity with your people. Your family members that are there, they might sit there and say, we don't like the IRGC. We don't like the Supreme Leader. Fine. But then I want you to follow up and ask them, who would you rather rule over you? The or the Supreme Leader? I guarantee you they're probably going to say, we don't like the Supreme Leader, but we like him more than the. So go ahead and follow up with the second question.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's incredible to me how like Iranians have high IQ until we get to this topic. Then you become window licking.
It's the emotions. It's the emotions. And it gets me so mad because, you know, the situation is that the biggest starter, the biggest aggressor and agitator of violence or conflict in the Middle East is obviously. You see what they're doing in southern Lebanon, Gaza, everything else. And so it's evident they're the biggest issue.
One more thing.
Somehow.
One more thing. I got to say this too. If the support for this for the IRGC was so bad, why weren't holding hands standing on bridges when Trump said it's going to be Bridge Day? Why were people surrounding and staying at the power plants before they got bombed? Why were they doing that? Why did thousands of mobilize to do that? Huh? Because here's the other thing that you don't understand. Both Trump and Hegseth said, we're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age. Oh, a civilization might die. He basically threatened genocide on True Social. So anyone that might have been pro-America or lost that sentiment immediately because they basically talked about destroying the country. So let's use common sense, you shot-tard. Okay, you 50 IQ. If you live in Iran and you don't like the IRGC or the Supreme Leader, but the people that are supposed to liberate you are talking about destroying your water, destroying your infrastructure, destroying electricity, and killing a bunch of people, and your civilization might die, who are you going to side with? Who are you going to side with? You're going to side with your government, whether you hate them or not, because they're the only thing that can protect you. You window licking. You're so painful because it's clear you don't watch the news. You don't know what you're talking about. Even the people that live in Iran itself immediately stop supporting the United States and Israel when they start talking about sending them to the Stone Age and destroying the bridges and destroying the power plants. Because guess what? That actually affects them. So they're going to side with the government just off of that. You're so read the news, see what's going on, look at what your own politicians are saying, then come back and comment in the chat. You are so it's painful. And nothing you can say, you can refute it. It's all true. No one would side with a government that's threatening to destroy and genocide them. All right, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I don't mean to crash on your chat, but
No, you're good. You're good. I actually have a couple more super chats, but yeah, it's like, bro, we've made it increasingly obvious. And what you just went on about, that's what we call a rally around the flag effect. Do you guys just think we're using buzzwords that mean nothing? No, we're saying this so we don't have to give you this long-winded explanation as to what that means and how it's caused. But since a lot of people don't seem to understand what's happening, we have to break these terms down in great detail. But we're addressing this in our terminology. If you're paying attention, we've been saying this from day one. You know, you bomb the shit out of a country, you threaten it. That's what happens. Round Comet says Iran has Kurdish, Balochis, Arabs, Afghanis, and Azeris, which make up 40%. Yeah, not everyone is a Persian in Iran. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking to the other guy. Yeah. That's what we're saying. I agree. Yeah, I think Iran has like 50% non-Persian population.
Yeah.
40,
and that's what the United States tried to leverage with sectarian violence. They tried to do what they did in Syria. Use sectarian differences to cause divide. That's why they tried to get the Kurds, and the Kurds said, no, thank you.
Yeah, because they know where that will lead. And that's my prediction. If the IRGC is completely decapitated, all of those different factions and ethnic groups and tribes will try and come to power, and it's going to be Syria all over again. Easy Money Car says, Grandma told me never trust him. boys. Bro, all right, thanks so much. Round comment, El Iranian diaspora, don't trust these people. Yeah, absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. Freon says, Myron, former Inca, what happened to your breakdown of your investigation of the Latin kings? I've been waiting. Love you, bro. And nowadays I fly planes. It's Freon 1545. I don't know if you were going to break that down or.
Yeah, I got a dedicated episode of Fed It for that. Well, on one of the Sunday shows.
One day, bro. It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming.
I'll do it.
Milan says, did you hear was calling Turkey next after Iran, or is it fake? No, I've seen that. And I mean, I don't know, they got enough to deal with now. I don't know how true it is, but this is what I was saying. Oh, I forgot. It's like people complain about the IRGC. Bro, just watch this video with me. This is honestly going to make you mad, but it needs to be shown. Can you see that?
Yep.
She moves her fingers as she recognizes her nurse's voice. But with nearly half her body burned in an airstrike, any movement at all is painful. Her name is Zainab. She's only 12, and her entire family was killed in the same attack she barely survived. She still doesn't know that her parents and...
My bad.
Are you good? Go ahead.
Hang on.
Zainab constantly asks for her mother. Her only two visitors are her aunt and uncle, and they can't bring themselves to tell her the brutal truth right now.
All civilian. They going to why? No one knows. They're not fighting. He doesn't have any bomb. He doesn't make any bad thing for anyone. If I was in our house,
daily occurrence, chat. Daily occurrence in Southern Lebanon.
Yep. This right here, pause red. This is why everybody hates it, bro. Western media never shows you guys this, but this is why everyone hates it, bro. They kill kids every single day like this, dude, whether it's in Gaza, Lebanon, etc. And again, like I said before, the whole Muslim world knows this, the whole Middle East world knows this, and even the people that hate the supreme leader know this, and they will never side with it, which is why when like SK1 come in here, I say they're because they are. You are so out of touch, it's painful. You know what I mean? Just turn on the PBD podcast and go home, bro. Like, you don't got to watch us. Go watch PBD, talk about how the Shah's awesome and how you guys are going to liberate Iran. Meanwhile, we're talking about bombing them into the Stone Age. You're so fucking... Like, I hate... Bro. Yo, you guys would be extinct if I was the leader, bro. Holy shit. I won't go much further because my brother's on YouTube.
no, you're good.
But you are going to be slaves, bro.
Now, I want you guys to watch this in full, though.
This is very bad issue. I don't know what to say.
Let's see.
Yeah.
The sole survivor in just one family affected is still critically ill and not out of danger yet. This has been a particularly deadly war for children. Sometimes it's hard to grasp statistics, but 33 children were killed in just one day's airstrikes.
You kidding me? That's crazy. And then they get mad about 8. Did you see that on Trump's Truth Social? The IRGC plans to hang these like 8 or 9 girls, and I want them to stop. Otherwise, I'm going to strike. And then kills 33 children. This girl just lost her parents and her brother. She's the only survivor. She's hanging on by the thinnest thread. And you got people complaining about the IRGC. It has been doing this since the 60s for the longest time.
Since the 1900s, bruh. They've been doing this shit.
Forever.
Niggas been doing this.
Think about it. We become so numb in the fog of war. Really conceptualize that. 33 kids, That's why I said Lebanon is not too far off from feeling the pain that Gaza feels. Obviously it's not the same thing.
Hezbollah exists because they don't want to do what they did to... Hezbollah exists because they don't want another Palestine. That's literally what it is. That's why they refuse to disarm.
Yeah.
So...
166 have been killed in the past 6 weeks since the latest flare-up, since the beginning of March, and 650 have been left badly wounded or hurt. Baby sister.
So anytime somebody tries to say something to you, just remember this image. Let it etch deep in your memory. Remember this image of this small girl
And it's not in
who's
Palestine.
without a family now.
It's in Lebanon.
This is not Palestine. It is not a Palestinian girl, by the way. You know, and it's just like sometimes you got to remind people, even myself, you know, I get numb and I kind of forget what that stuff really means and what it looks like when you see it. But it's genuinely disturbing, and people still distract themselves with the IRGC war crimes. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Seriously, fuck you.
Let's go.
You know?
Let's
did
go
you want
back
to finish this or?
Yeah, let's finish because
Yeah.
the John Kiriakou thing.
Gotcha.
Let's. You know what? How about this? Let's play it kind of like not from the beginning, but like let's play so that we can get, because we got a lot of new people here that probably just joined in and they're probably like, what the fuck's going on? So let's go ahead and have him confront him from the beginning and play it for like 3 minutes uninterrupted.
But I want to get into one thing right off the bat. You were on a podcast and my phone started blowing up. And I'm like, why is everybody texting me this? Look what John said about you. I said, John is about to get on the podcast. So Rob, if you have the clip, I want to start off with this. I want to address it one by one. I want you to cover this for me. So you're on a podcast. I don't know which podcast this is, but whatever it is, I was texted by everybody with this. So go ahead and play this clip.
I was watching Patrick Bet David yesterday, and Patrick is a hardcore Zionist. He's Iranian. I don't think he's. I think he's like half Assyrian and half Armenian.
Yeah.
Hang on.
But he's a hardcore Zionist, and not just a Zionist. He is a like 1,000% backer of Reza Pahlavi to return to Iran and to assume the peacock throne and blah, blah, blah. And he was saying yesterday that it's not 60% of the Iranian people who support the overthrow of the regime. It is 94%. And
I don't know when I've ever said that, but okay, let's keep going.
Am I wrong?
There are no
Hang on.
polls.
Let's
There
keep
are
going
no
through it.
polls. You just make this up to put your stooge in.
The monarchists are crazy online. I mean,
They are.
I saw they've been passing along the message that Iran only became Muslim 100 years ago.
What?
No, that was 1,000 years ago.
1,000 years ago, yes. And I get that there are still Zoroastrians, and
now watch what
I
happens
get all
here,
that.
which is the funniest part.
Elliot Covert, Patrick Bet David is Jewish. Okay, I stand corrected. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
I know he's not ethnic Persian. He's
What
Armenian,
else is there, Rob? Is there
Assyrian.
anything else that goes on?
Yeah,
or
94% of his
Curious to know, because I want to
That's
get all of it
exactly
out.
Well, that's
I'm
what they
a
do,
big
right?
fan of
Literally,
yours.
I've been asking online, like from these Persian monarchists.
See, this is what I
so
get
where's
for
your
listening to
proof, right?
people
You
in
say,
the chat.
Everybody wants the Shah back. I find that very hard to believe, considering how brutal the Shah was, and the fact that he was overthrown by his own people. Right? I mean, it wasn't like he was cooed out by any foreign power. Quite to the contrary. So he, but yeah, they literally these Persian monarchists, they do polls of like.
Is there anything else?
And,
Okay, you can pause it right there. Walk me through this.
Oh, I owe you an apology.
No, but tell me
like.
this. It's not. I don't want an apology. I enjoy talking to you. Last time we spoke, I think out of the 7 clips that we posted, 3 of them was upset because it was comments you made that were bad against Mossad, and I thought it was very revealing. I thought it was great. But walk me through each of these. Number 1, hardcore Zionist, 100% backer of Pahlavi, and then 94%. Tell me.
Okay, the reason I said that is because of Netanyahu's appearance, number 1.
Yep.
And the comments that you've made about Pahlavi, like, why hasn't this guy called me back? I want him on the show. Like, why? He's irrelevant. He's a clown.
Why hasn't he called me back? I had him on the show 2 times.
Yeah, but when you first invited
Do you know
him,
why? Do you know what happened there? He's asking for help. Because the interviewer, the Iranian interviewer that interviewed me, is asking me, are you going to help him? Are you going to help Reza Pahlavi? And we're speaking in Farsi and English. And I said, no. He asked me for help. I never heard back from him. But I made some very bad remarks about the guy. Have you heard what I've said about them?
No, I'd love to.
I don't know how you must not know how monarchists think of me right now.
No.
Do you know they can't stand me today?
Good.
No, it's not good. I liked his father. I don't think he's a strong leader.
He's not.
He was following me. His wife was following me. His daughter was following me. Everybody unfollowed. The monarchists attacked me because I called. Oh, it is in shambles with me in that relationship, Rob. Maybe play a clip of what I said in the podcast. If you want to play that.
That's a badge of honor.
I'm going to leave Iran and go. And by the way, you know what's the biggest thing that Iranian people are saying? Hey, Reza Pahlavi, why don't you go to Azerbaijan and say a few words from there? Come closer to Iran. Show some stuff. He's not doing it. The one thing about Trump, let me tell you what was very crystal clear about Trump, about Milei, about Bukele. You know what it was? They're willing to do the legwork. They're willing to go out there. They're willing to pay the price. They're willing to drive. They're willing to work their tails off. It's very obvious. We, the market, said, who is this crazy Elvis-looking guy from Argentina? There is no way he'll ever win making out with people on stage. Guess what? He won. Who is this Bukele guy that's in his early mid-30s? And by the way, let me give you what's going to be confusing. I have a painting of his dad in my house. So I'm a fan of his father. So this is not like a bash towards the family.
No, of course.
And so, but this is towards, I was critical of him because for 47 years he's been talking about he wants to have Iran be free, and he didn't do that. And keep in mind, a part of me is, that's the painting in my house. That's a 15-foot painting. His father's right in the middle. My criticism is of him. But I was watching it. I'm like, why? Did somebody tell you I'm a Zionist?
Yeah.
Did you? Who's that?
It was in the chat.
No, but
I was reading the chat.
L pictures. Martin Luther King there. Replace that nigga with Malcolm X.
Like, why did somebody tell you I'm a Zionist?
Yeah.
Did you? Who's that?
It was in the chat.
No,
See,
but
I was reading the chat.
Did any other influencers that you go and do interviews with, did anybody whisper to you off camera, hey, be careful with Patrick, he's a Zionist?
Yes.
Who was that?
Oh, I don't want to out him like that, but he said, "Oh, you're going on PBD." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Be careful. Patrick comes out swinging on it."
Is this a big name?
Yeah, it's a pretty big name.
One of the biggest names? So then I know who it is.
I don't want to.
Was his family in the CIA before, maybe?
I've got to stop.
Okay. All right.
But I want to apologize on the record
Yeah.
because I was wrong.
Okay, so that and the BB side, because you know who's the only person in the world that interviewed BB and Nick Fuentes within 30 days?
It's got to be you.
It's only me.
It's got to be.
So you know what the problem is with me, John? This is the problem. The same people that want freedom of speech, that pitch it,
Yeah.
don't practice it.
Yeah.
What do I mean by that? They generally want to only talk to people that agree with them.
Yes, it's
You and I
generally
don't agree on maybe a few things.
No, which is
but
why I so
love the
enjoy it.
conversation.
Yes,
I love
me
the
too.
conversation because my thoughts are, Alicia, just bring it to me. It's totally fine. My thoughts are, it's like, man, I don't know. He's a CIA guy. He must know more than I do.
Oh, no,
he has
no.
some experience. So I want to know. But
No, I'm wrong, and I apologize.
No, let's go to the other one because I want to clear all of this up. Let's go to the one about when you said 94%. I'd
Holy
love to know when I said
cow.
94%. Rob, can you take one of the language learning models? Matter of fact, why don't we do both of them? Take ChatGPT and do Grok and ask a question. How do you want to pose this question? What percentage of Iranians don't support the IRGC? What percentage of Iranians don't support the IRGC? Okay, ask the same exact question. So what we'll typically do is we'll ask different and we'll go do our own and then we'll look at the numbers that's being given. Okay.
Wow.
This is which one? What does it say? Around 80 to 92% of Iranians appear to not support the IRGC. Based on available polls, supportedly like them. The direct polling on the IRGC challenge and due to Iran repression, surveillance, and self-censorship. Okay, great. Leaked internal Iranian government poll 2025 commissioned by the presidency. A confidential report found 92% of Iranians hate the regime. And that's from Yahoo, explicitly including Supreme Leader Khamenei and the IRGC, not just specific officials or policies. This was cited by Iranian experts and aligns with widespread dissatisfaction. Gammon is the one that I saw. By the way, I haven't even seen the one above that we're reading for the, go to the Gammon one. Gammon says what? Independent Arts online poll 10,000, 13 to 14 have confidence in the IRGC, so that leaves another 86. And what does it say? Broader regime rejection, only about 15 to 20% want Islamic Republic to continue. 70 to 80% favor regime change or major transformation. High agreement, 70% with designating the IRGC as a terrorist organization in Iran. Can you go to the, is this ChatGPT or Grok?
That was Grok.
Okay.
You know,
And
what's
remember,
interesting?
by the way,
Go ahead.
this is an omission from that stat. And this is why you have to be very careful when you read these. You have to know what you're actually looking at and know how the world works. But just because they may be in favor of regime change doesn't mean they want it this way,
Yeah.
that it's currently happening. Like
I was going to say, this was definitely
fashion-
pre-war. This had to have been pre-war.
Precisely.
This is
And
pre-war.
so this fashion of regime change is certainly not the one that people at home had in mind, if we're even granting truth to a lot of these numbers, right? And that's evident. Now we're only 55 days in and it's been disastrous for all sides. There's been no winner at all.
Okay,
This
let's
is
see what
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT says. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so direct IRGC split 2019 Maryland poll 80%. Maryland Iran poll, so that's Maryland. So you can criticize that because that's from here 80%. Gammon is the same one. I think Gammon is from Netherlands. 71% of Iranians oppose. 20% support. So you see what numbers we're repeating.
Yeah, yeah.
We're repeating
No,
reports that are coming in. So it's not a.
You're right, and I'm wrong, and I apologize.
No, I appreciate
That's
that.
whack.
That's crazy.
That's so. Kiriakou, you were right, bro. What do you, bro? See, this is why, like, these numbers are because they're not wartime numbers. And then I guarantee you, it's even less now because, like I said before, Hexeth, Trump, saying the shit about the Stone Age and threatening power plants and bridges, that made anyone that even liked America say, that these guys aren't trying to help us. These guys are trying to kill us. And the only people that can protect us is the IRGC. We're going to stay with the IRGC. Like, yeah, that's cocked.
Yeah, that's it.
That's cocked. You know what, bro? That talent agency gave that nigga a call. Hey, you know what, bro? You got to
Yeah.
go here on PBD and cuck yourself.
This might be like a whole thing here. This might be like a planned humiliation ritual. Like for your
Yeah.
contract to actually come into fruition,
Yeah.
you must allow Patrick Shinbet Star of David to humiliate you on
Yeah.
air. Like what
Facts.
the fuck?
Facts. That's
Like
what
this
that was
is
the deal.
completely opposed to his rhetoric. By the way, this guy was a part of the IC. This guy was former CIA. Like he knows something about something. He's not completely clueless for it. So for him to just completely shut down here is really scary and telling. And so I'm glad you honestly said that earlier because now he's showing what seems to be his, true colors moving forward. But yeah, I mean, and I explained earlier why those numbers are all likely and even if they're not, why it doesn't matter now during the war. But, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse. You all know.
The last one I want to
How
show
much
you,
longer,
which is crazy.
How much longer are you going to stand, by the way? 2:15 now?
We can finish with the hadith thing. You want to move to that?
Well, let's see is there anything else here? Or did he just fold like that?
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I can
Let's
put
watch
it
all of it.
1.25.
It's 13 minutes.
Finish.
Yeah. Let's finish this. Yeah.
Finish it. Yeah. Really quick, I have a chat or a couple chats. Igor says, do you and Myron know Jonathan? Wow. Jonathan Azizia? No, I'm not too familiar. Maybe Myron knows him? No. And then he says, you and Myron need to have him on ASAP. Look him up, please. Okay, we'll look into it. Thanks, Igor. Shay says, got to come show love to you as well. Came from Myron's stream, one of his mods. I love this Duo Brothers stream. Keep the good work. God bless you. Thank you so much for the huge super chat. I appreciate it. I don't know if that's huge. I'm not sure what currency that is, but regardless, whether it's $1 or 100, thank you so much. Okay. All right, let's get back. SK1 is still coping. Bro, all right, bro. You're talking to yourself, bro.
That's still
You're talking to yourself.
What is he talking about now?
I don't know. But I'm not going to ban you. You can say whatever you want. You're entitled to your opinion, but you are. I hope you know that. But you're welcome to say whatever you want. But you know you're talking to a wall, my friend. We've addressed your claims like 100 million times in the last 50 days, and you still keep going. So maybe go back and watch the streams in detail.
Get this out of the way so we can have our conversation.
The internet is blacked
do you know who I brought
the
on the
internet's
podcast?
not blacked out. You just can't use foreign websites. You can use Iranian internet, like Iranian websites and Iranian social media. And that's obviously because of what happened in January when the Mossad and the CIA tried to get a whole bunch of these agitators to, do violent acts, which was admitted by the and the Americans. Like, bro, are you that stupid?
The thing is, I'm just not engaging with him because he's not acknowledging the fact that the United States tried to meddle in their affairs. The United States has been involved for years. We've exacerbated the issue. Mike Pompeo admitted to the CIA and Mossad walking alongside every protester. Like, it's like, well, what are we doing here? This is very silly. If you can't acknowledge those things, then of course you're not aware or privy to what's really happening, or you don't understand it as a whole.
Who never agreed to go on the podcast with anybody. And when he came in, he was the most suspicious guy here looking at me saying, why do you have me on the podcast? You know who it was?
No, who's that?
The co-founder of IRGC.
No.
That guy right there. Mohsen Sazegara. Okay? Do you know who he was?
How did I miss that?
So check this out. I'm gonna show this for you. So if you go a little bit lower to see who he's the founder of, go a little bit lower, put IRGC, arrest, blah, 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 blah. Can we find the IRGC there with him and Khomeini? Okay, right there in the middle.
There he is.
An Iranian journalist and political. He was the founder of the Islamic Revolutionary Corps after the Iranian Revolution. He was the guy, it was between him and Khomeini that started the IRGC.
My God.
He would do the intro to all the tapes where they would send in for Iranians to listen before the revolution happened to pin Pahlavi's people against him. This was the voice.
Wow.
Then you hit Khomeini. I had him on the podcast. And the claim was that Savak killed 100,000 people. Now keep in mind, he's the propaganda guy.
Sure.
That's at Savak, which is,
intelligence
Pahlavi's CIA, Pahlavi's Mossad, right? At the end of the podcast, I wanted to ask him, it's been 40-something years now. You were involved. Was it a lie that Shah killed 100,000 people? This is not a fan of me.
Right.
This is not a fan of the Pahlavi. He did not come in knowing what we were going to talk about. Look at his answer here. Go ahead, Ram.
Compare Shah with Khomeini. Let me say my judgment now. That many documents have come out. For instance, on those days, opposition claimed that 100,000 political prisoners Shah has. There are 100,000 political prisoners in Iran. That was false.
It was only 3,000, 3,500.
3,000, few hundred.
Right.
Now
This
that
is the
if I
founder of
compare
IRGC.
Shah with Khomeini, definitely, I already said. First of all, his personality, Shah, was
Yeah, but this is not the basis in which we derive our criticism from. So,
What does this have to do with anything?
It has nothing to do with anything at all. I don't
I'm
even know
trying to figure out why he's bringing this up. Like,
no
one cares
but
about.
Again,
what?
John Kiriakou is just absolutely submitting right now. So, like Patrick Bet-David is having a field day.
a better guy than Khomeini. First. Second.
All right, pause that. I got some info for you guys. So guys, check this out. Blame all you want, but the reality is Iran has. Let me show you guys this screen real quick, because you guys need to see this. So, okay, it says here, blame it all you want, but the reality is Iran has always been the root cause of chaos in the Middle East, not Israel. Right? And then says, bro, the Shah been dead, just move on. And then Patrick Bet-David, right, says, Jackson, aside from me mentioning the Shah, what part of this message do you have a problem with? And this got 107 likes. So this is a very well written thing about the Shah, but I'll quickly read through this for you guys, okay? You claim there was no major war in the Middle East during the Shah's rule, which is patently false. Yom Kippur War 73, Six-Day War 67, Suez Canal Crisis 56, Arab War 48. You also claim Iran was not heavily involved in any major war in the Middle East under the Shah, which is also patently false. Iran was fought direct and proxy wars to confront pan-Arabism and Arab nationalism, protect the Red Sea shipping lanes for the U.S. and U.K., protect the Strait of Hormuz for Western oil corporations, weaken Soviet alliance states, and to weaken supporters of Palestinian liberation groups. Not to mention the Shah Savak fought a war on the Iranian people to silence dissent, protect Western financial interests, and maintain Iran's position as a geopolitical pawn. For starters, the 1953 coup in Iran to install the Shah, which, the U.S., U.K., and orchestrated, results in hundreds of deaths, killing, looting, the loss of all sovereignty, and suppression of dissent. After the coup, Iran became one of the only Muslim majority states in the region to recognize it. Between the 1960s and 1975, Shah led skirmishes backed by the U.S. and U.K. and on the Iraqi border to weaken Iraq, which was a Soviet-aligned Arab nationalist state. The Shah's Iran was used to reduce Soviet leverage in the Persian Gulf, a key oil region. This was supported by the U.S., U.K., and between 1961 to 1975, the Shah waged proxy war in Iraq by supporting the Kurdish rebellion alongside the U.S. and in an effort to destabilize Iraq's Ba'athist government, which was a Soviet ally and Arab nationalist power. Preoccupied with the rebellion, Iraq was less able to support Arab wars against Iran. Acted as a conduit for U.S. and aid, provided bases and weapons to the Kurds, and used U.S. supplied arms to shell Iraqi positions. And then between 73 and 76, the Shah deployed 4,000 Iranian troops to aid the UK's former colonial power of Oman in securing oil routes in the Strait of Hormuz for the U.S. and UK. Iran helped Oman's Sultan Tabriz, who was a British agent, in crushing the Marxist Darfur Liberation Front, which was backed by the South Yemen and Soviet bloc. And there's just more and more here. But the point you guys are trying to get here, and I could drop this link for you guys if you want to read more, that basically the Shah was a Western puppet, okay? I'll drop the link there so you guys can read it yourselves, but it was very well written in a response, and obviously it was a monumental ratio. But yeah, anyway.